The laughter hit first. Sharp, loud, coordinated, like it had been rehearsed. I stood there, champagne glass untouched, watching my stepsister tilt her head with that practiced smile, the one she used when she wanted to look kind while cutting someone open. Just a nurse. That word just echoed longer than the laughter. Dad leaned back in his chair, laughing too hard. Mom didn't laugh, she smirked, worse. And me? I smiled. Because this wasn't the moment I lost. This was the moment everything came due. There was a time she used to hold my hand. Before stepsister became a label with edges. Before my father remarried and slowly rewrote our roles, hers in gold, mine in pencil. We shared a room once, whispered secrets past midnight. She used to say I was the strong one, the one who could handle anything. Funny how that became the justification for how they treated me. You're resilient, Dad would say. Translation, you'll survive the neglect. She got the best schools. I got scholarships. She got introductions. I got expectations. And when I chose nursing, it wasn't because I couldn't be more. It was because I saw things they never could. Pain, survival, truth. They called it settling. I called it watching. Learning. Waiting. The first crack didn't come from her. It came from a patient. 3 years ago. A man in a private room. Older, wealthy, quiet. He stared at me for a long time during one of my night shifts. "Where did you say you were from?" he asked. I told him. His eyes sharpened. "Your father's name?" I answered. That was the first time I saw confusion turn into something else, recognition. "Strange," he murmured. "I've seen your face before. Just not in that house." I didn't react then, but I remembered. I always remember. Curiosity is dangerous when paired with patience. I started digging. Not recklessly, quietly. Old documents, archived files, a name that didn't match, a date that didn't align. Then the final piece, buried where no one thought I'd look. A hospital record. My birth record. Not filed under my father's name. Filed under his. The man in the private room. The one who had stared at me like he'd lost something. Or someone. I didn't confront anyone. That's where most people fail. They rush the truth. I built mine. I confirmed it legally, quietly. DNA doesn't lie, even when families do. Then I watched. Watched my father continue his comfortable lie. Watched my stepsister rise on a foundation that wasn't fully hers. Watched my mother protect a story that had cracks in every corner. And I waited for the right stage. Not a confrontation. A performance. Her wedding was perfect for it. Big, expensive, public. Over 120 guests. Influential ones. People who mattered. People who could witness. I made sure I was invited, not as family, but as obligation. I wore something simple, understated. Let them underestimate me one last time, and then she gave me exactly what I needed. "This is my stepsister, just a nurse." The room laughed. Good. It made the silence that followed louder. Wait. The groom's father stood up. I didn't move. Didn't rush. Didn't correct him. He walked closer, eyes locked on mine. "Say your name again." I did. And I watched it hit him. Not surprise. Certainty. "That's not possible," he said under his breath. You're... I didn't let him finish. "Should I?" I asked softly. The room shifted. Something in my tone cut through the noise. People leaned in. Even my father stopped laughing. I said, placing my glass down carefully. "It's time we stop pretending." Silence. Heavy, waiting. I reached into my bag. Not dramatically. Just enough. A folder. Thin, precise. Prepared. I didn't want to ruin anything, I continued. Not until I was absolutely sure. I slid the first paper across the table. DNA results. Clear, unarguable. The groom's father didn't need to read it twice. His hand trembled. "No," my father whispered. That was new. Fear didn't suit him. "You always said I was resilient," I said, finally looking at him. Turns out I had to be. My stepsister's smile was gone now. Cracked, hollow. "What is this?" she snapped. I met her eyes. Correction. She blinked. "What?" "You introduced me wrong." I stepped closer. Close enough that only she could hear the next part. "But don't worry," I whispered. "I'll fix it for you." Then I turned back to the room. I'm not her stepsister. Pause. I'm his daughter. I gestured, not to my father, to the man standing frozen across from me. The fallout wasn't loud. It was worse. It was quiet. The kind of quiet that destroys reputations. My father tried to speak. Nothing came out. My mother looked like she'd swallowed glass. And my stepsister? She finally understood. Not everything. Just enough. You knew, she said, barely audible. I held her gaze. For a while. Why now? I smiled. Not kindly, because you needed an audience. The wedding didn't end immediately. It unraveled. Whispers spread faster than any announcement. Guests started leaving, not out of politeness, but discomfort. The groom looked at her differently. That was the real damage. Not the truth. The shift. I didn't stay to watch it all collapse. I didn't need to. I had already seen the ending. People think revenge is loud, explosive, messy. It's not. The best kind is precise, timed. I didn't destroy them. I revealed them, and sometimes that's worse. I walked out before anyone could stop me. No one laughed. Not anymore. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't just anything.